Hi students, welcome to another e-lesson video, this one over note-taking. Once again, feel free to pause and rewind this video at any time to take notes, rewatch, or get caught up. Our topics we're going to talk about are the note-taking requirements for this class, when to take notes for this class, and then finally some note-taking methods and organization skills, and I'm going to show you some samples that I have put out on the course site for you to look at on those. Note-taking requirements. Note-taking is a focus here in AP Lang. This is a college preparation class, and so we're trying to give you some college skills to take with you. Note-taking is an invaluable learning tool as well as an invaluable study tool. It's really difficult to study for an exam unless you have taken notes over that exam, and far too often in high school the burden has been put on the teacher to give you study materials, when in fact it's not our responsibility to give you things to study and things to work on to prepare for a test. That's your responsibility. So we're going to refocus on this essential non-academic skill in AP Lang. Note checks, we will have many note checks throughout the year because it is a requirement of the class. We're going to have between 1 and 3 note checks per marking period. Honestly though, we can just do these on a whim. We will just decide on a day-to-day basis when we'd like to check that you are taking up notes. These are unannounced. They're not on your calendars, as you can see. They're all daily grades or portion of daily grades, or fractions of daily grades, I mean. And they basically just check for complete notes and thoroughness of notes. We just kind of look at them. We don't sit there and read the whole darn thing, but teachers are pretty good at skimming very quickly to see whether or not your notes are complete and thorough, or whether or not you've done what you're supposed to do, essentially. Once again, since we do have unannounced note checks, just like it says in your syllabus, you are required to bring your AP Lang notebooks to class every single day. Every single day. This is so that if we call for your notebooks to check them, then you have yours and you get it scored. If you do not have your notebook on the day of an unannounced note check, it's a 0. That's just it. It's a requirement of the class to have your notebook. A check is a check, I believe, as I said in a previous video. When to take notes in this class? Well, aren't you taking notes right now? That's here in a moment. The next video you're going to watch for your homework this evening, you will need to start taking notes on. That's going to be the first note-taking requirement of the year. So every important topic we study in this class, you need to create another section in your notebook for that. Every lesson or e-lesson you work through, you need to take notes on. Every text that we read, you're going to take notes on. To help you keep up with all the things we want you to take notes on, I've actually created a notes topic outline. It's posted on the course site, and it lists all the topics that you should take notes on in your notebooks as they are assigned. So if you're ever sitting at home and you're just looking through your notebook and you're wondering if you've gotten everything, if you've got all your notes together, and you're just really wondering what topics we've covered that you should have taken notes on, you can go out to the course website. Let me show you really quick. Here's our course page, and just look right up here in the upper left-hand corner, and you'll see a series of notes topics. As you can see in this series, there is one topic so far, notes over Walden and Transcendentalism. That's the next e-lesson you're going to do this evening. And so since that's the only notes, or that's the only topic assigned so far, that's the only item in this outline. Note-taking methods and organization. There are many, many different ways to take notes. Find a way that works for you. I've posted some sample methods out on the course site, I believe just beneath this video, some sample note-taking methods, I think 5 different kinds. We do have some requirements though. Feel free to, create a method of note-taking that works for you, but they must do this. They must be neat and organized. They must feature, the topics must be clearly visible at the beginning of each new set of notes. Whether you like to start a new topic on a fresh sheet of paper, or if you like to save paper, the topic must be clearly visible whenever you start a new set of notes or start taking notes on a new topic. Your notes must also include your personal observations and your internal interactions with whatever you're studying, reading, listening to, that sort of thing. And what I mean by this is that far too often students at this level think notes are just writing down the things that you learned, or just the snippets of what was on the professor's PowerPoint, or just kind of a bullet point summary of what you read. But no, real study and real note taking has kind of a dialogue component to it. You need to take notes on, exactly, you can do the classic bullet points summary of your reading, but in between those bullet points, you need to write down, type down, I guess in our class it's going to be write down your personal reactions to what you read and what you hear in our lessons. And to illustrate this, I'd like to show you, before I conclude the video, just a copy of my personal notes. These are notes that I took, it would be 2 years ago, coming into a year of teaching AP Lang. It was when we first decided we were going to teach Walden, or assign Walden in the summer. And I hadn't read Walden since college, and so I needed to sit down and read Walden. And these are the notes that I took. I want to show you the how they are kind of like a dialogue. Yeah, let's kind of zoom in here. This is for, just, what, 10 pages of notes over the first 2 chapters. I didn't go further than the 2 chapters with my notes because I was just getting ready for school. But just see what I have here. I'm just jotting down the things that I learned from what I was reading, and then I kind of respond to it in time. Let's see if I can find something that makes any sense. He tells an anecdote about an Indian who weaves baskets but cannot sell them, and compares this to his own troubles with selling his own, quote, baskets. He's referring to his literary efforts. And here's kind of a personal response to that. This is likely, I'm kind of guessing at this point, this is likely in reference to his first major work, which he printed himself but had great difficulty selling, the leftover copies of which were stored at his cabin. So I'm trying to predict what I thought that baskets meant in quote. Yeah, here's some more. What he learned from the situation and from his neighbor's refusal to give him public office is what drove him to retreat into the woods. He believes that sound business knowledge is necessary to every man. Different things we read and different things we discuss are going to have a different flow of notes. As you can see, this is obviously notes from Thoreau, because these two things don't really go back to back, but that's just Thoreau. Here we go. Proposes that man's choice in clothing, one of the necessities, is too often motivated by a love of novelty and the opinions of others, rather than by utility. Here he also makes a key distinction. He goes on to criticize. Let me find something that's more of a personal response. Let's see. Something like this. Is note-taking, supports tattooing, believes that unlike clothing it is imprinted on the skin, therefore imprinted on the man. Thoreau is really odd. That was just my personal reaction when I read that. So those sorts of things are vital parts of the study process, and so they should go in your notes. I will warn you of one last thing. Remember, the notes that you take are your notes. I've written out these notes in complete sentences, complete phrases, complete clauses. Your notes do not have to be nearly this grammatically thorough. They need to be this thorough, but not this fully written out. If you try to take these kind of detailed notes off of everything you read, like, I'm a teacher. I had to study this novel in order to teach it. When you're studying the books that we assign in here, the readings we assign in here, you don't have to teach it necessarily, so your notes don't have to be this thorough. I knew that I was going to need full quotes for my class, so I pulled full quotes, that sort of thing. So, yeah, keep that in mind, that notes don't have to be quite this long. All right, that's all I have for this e-lesson. Thank you for watching. Feel free to watch again, and remember, on the next video, go ahead and start taking notes.